Welcome to the Thin Blue Line Outdoors Podcast.
This pig came battling.
Just ended up puking last night. It sucked.
Whoa! Ah! We gut it, we wrap it in tinfoil, throw it over the fire.
All right, everyone. It's Cody Johnson here at the Thin Blue Line Outdoors. This is going to be podcast 67. It's going to be the first one of the new year for us, first one of 2024. I have a new guest on. I have Brett Morris here. Super excited to have him on. I also want to thank him before we get started here. This is our first time using, I should take that back, our third time using StreamYard. We're trying to up our game here on the podcast, trying to get new guests on, and we were having issues with some of the other platforms we'd used. So far, I've liked StreamYard, so Brett, I would like to say thank you for that right off the bat. But Brett, get you started. If you just want to introduce yourself to our crowd and introduce your brand, and go from there.
Yeah, I'm Brett Morris. I'm 34 years old. I'm from East Central Indiana. I run Blue River Bowhunting. Started in 2020 with the whole filming thing and started a podcast. And I had been into the filming aspect of my whitetail hunts from like 2016 going forward. And I just dabbled in it, barely got my toes wet, and then I finally decided like, hey, I think I'm ready to do this. I'm going to dive deep into the filming aspect of things, and I kind of just took off. I had several buddies that were ready to do the same thing I was and start a brand, so to speak, and we kicked off in 2020, been going strong, and there's 8 of us total in Blue River Bowhunting, and it's been a blast ever since. Everything. We're from Indiana, but we travel to Kentucky, Missouri, Michigan, West Virginia. We go everywhere and anywhere when it comes to whitetails, and definitely for turkeys as well.
So I got to ask, because we also started in 2020. At what part of 2020 did you start it? Because I know we started, like I did, in January, and like really hit the ground running in March, right when COVID hit. So that's why where did you guys start in 2020?
I think it was more in the summer months that we really tried to come up with a name, which there's a whole story behind that. Come up with a name and what a logo would look like, and we kind of just winged it really as far as like the logo and stuff goes. And then we saw how hard it was to really get this thing taken off as far as the YouTube and social media and that sort of thing. And I feel like we've gotten really, really good at the social media and YouTube aspect as of late. But it's definitely an uphill climb until you get to a certain point, and then I think everything's pretty organic after that.
Yep. I know. So Brett and I, we actually met through TikTok. TikTok is good for some things.
Right.
Yeah. Even though I will say, and I've listened to multiple of your podcasts now. I know you guys, I think, have the same issue sometimes. TikTok doesn't like hunting a lot of times.
No, they don't.
Yeah, get your pee-pee smacked every now and then. I know I have.
Yeah, I have several times.
yeah. And and I'll see somebody else post something. I'm like, oh, well, maybe they've made the restrictions not as much, and I'll post something, I get flagged immediately.
Yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way really quickly because I wanted to be a part of that. There's definitely an outdoors crowd on there. And once you finally find that niche, the people that are in that kind of click, that they start to like your stuff and everything. But I posted, like, the first video I posted was like all of us that had killed deer that year, all of our all of our grip and grins, and it was taken down within seconds. And I was like, well, this is no fun.
Yep. Yeah, they'll get you. I don't get it all the time, but whatever. So anyway, if you don't mind me asking, what's the name then? Like, what's the story behind the name?
So back in my early 20s, me and a buddy lived together, and it's funny, as obsessed as we are with whitetails, our true passion back in the day was waterfowl. I would wake up on a Saturday morning or the weekend, and I would have 5 or 6, 7 guys sleeping in my living room, on the floors of my bedroom. Everybody wanted to duck hunt with us because it was just the fun thing to do. And we hunt. I mean, it's in our name, Blue River. We hunted Blue River quite a bit. So we always called ourselves the Blue River Bottom Boys, just kind of having fun with it, you know.
Yep.
And it always took off after that. I was like, you know, when we were trying to come up with a name, we literally hunt Blue River Bottoms. And I'm like, I don't really want the bottom aspect in it. And I wish going back now, I wouldn't have put the bow hunting part in there. I would maybe just like Blue River Outdoors or something. But honestly, that's our specialty. That's what we'd love to do. Even when it comes to turkeys, we're bow hunting. So it was just like, you know, let's just put bow hunting in there. It was unique at the time. I still think it's kind of unique because you see a lot of, you know, like yourself, you know, outdoors. You see that outdoors on the end of it, you know.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty common. I know we thought about the thin blue line bow hunting for a while, when we were coming up with the name, but kind of like you, I'm like, I mainly bow hunt, but I do everything else too. You know, I gun hunt, we do fishing content every now and then. So I'm like, I guess we'll go with the outdoors. Which I'll give you credit. I cannot kill a turkey with my bow to save my life. I just shoot him in the face with a shotgun. That's just, to me, that's what it's meant to be. I'll give you credit there. I can't do it. I don't get it.
Well, after this past year, I think I may be retiring my bow for turkey hunting. I also love to shoot him in the face with a shotgun as well. But one of our guys, Jason Burcham, he has literally never killed a turkey with a gun. He's probably killed 30 or 40 birds, and they're all bow kills.
That is impressive.
It's very impressive. And he's only one turkey away from a grand slam, and that's all with a bow.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to do the grand slam one day, but I ain't doing it with a bow. I'll tell you that.
No, neither. I'm going guns.
Yeah. There's been a couple times where I thought I've smoked a turkey, and I've looked and looked and looked, and I could not find it. So I'll stick with the gun hunting when it comes to turkeys.
Yeah, I learned that lesson pretty hard last year in West Virginia. It was the first time I'd ever hunted West Virginia for turkey. Was there opening morning, and the guy I was hunting with, he said, 9 o'clock sharp, these birds are in this field. So we waited around. We kind of had a little bit of rain in the area. Wasn't hearing a whole bunch of gobbles or anything. And then all of a sudden, these birds lit up, and they were close. So we finally called 2 birds into this field, and you can see it on YouTube. It's out there. I had these birds, within 15 yards, and I put a good shot on this bird. What I thought was a good shot. But your target bow hunting on a turkey is so small. If you don't hit it, you are absolutely screwed.
Yep, 100%, 100%. Which you guys going a little bit more into deer season. Your guys' deer season's already closed, isn't it, for Indiana?
Yes, it closed, I believe, like the 7th. So last Sunday was the last day.
Gotcha. So for the people listening to this is going to come out. It'd be a Wednesday from now for us. So we have Illinois' deer season closes this weekend. So I know I'll be going out one last hoorah, trying to get some meat in the freezer mainly. But to go back, and I'll drop the links here when I put this on YouTube to your video. But you killed a nice buck this year.
I did, and it could have been nicer. I'll start the story there. Halloween morning here in Indiana. I actually had to work that day, and they're pretty relaxed with my passions. They understand that when that time comes around, that Brett may not be there, kind of thing. I kind of save my days up for that sort of thing. But Halloween morning, I woke up. It was one of the coldest days we had in a long time. I think the low that morning was like 24 degrees or something like that. So I'm looking at barometric pressure and stuff when I got up to leave for work. And I saw the writing on the wall. Basically, I thought, man, this is my time to strike. So I called in, I did a lot of saddle hunting this past year. Got in, got set up, saw 4 or 5 deer that morning. Nothing crazy. 8:30, 9 o'clock rolls around, and I hear some commotion behind me down in the creek bottom, and some grunting to go with it. Didn't see anything, just heard it all. look up and a doe come running out of the creek, and what followed her was one of the biggest deer I've ever encountered while hunting. I had him at 45, 50 yards for 10 minutes ish and never could really get a shot, and I didn't want to force it. He was so big. He's around 170-inch mark.
Yeah.
And after that, I was completely obsessed with chasing this deer. I knew his kind of home range, so to speak, and I knew that my window to chase him was closing very rapidly for what was approaching, which would be the rut. And fast forward a few days later to the 3rd of November, same spot, same tree. I look up and see that same buck chasing 2 does, and I am just like wired at this point. Like, oh my God, this is my opportunity. And he's got 2 does. He's chasing 2 does, so he's not really. I'd say he's at 125 yards ish, but he's kind of wide out in the open. So I got him on video and everything, and I kind of threw a Hail Mary, and I threw the snort wheeze at him, and he stopped dead in his tracks, ears forward, kind of like, all right, let's roll, buddy, kind of thing. And
Yep.
he turned back and chased the does out of sight, and I thought, oh my God, there goes my opportunity. I thought this was going to happen. And next thing I know, I look up, and he is on a full-on dead sprint right to me, and all I could do was hit record on my camera and grab my bow. And before I could do that, he was at 40 yards. And going back, it really sucked, but I kind of forced the shot a little bit. I hit him back, which, I mean, the whole thing will make you absolutely want to puke, especially when you put so much effort into chasing these animals, So he survived. He's still out there. Which,
that's good.
Yeah, it is good. I hope I didn't really wound him bad enough to affect his antler growth, because the particular county that I'm hunting in Indiana, it's all around. I mean, that deer that I shot and didn't kill, some people had him on camera up to 4 miles away from where I tried to take him. Yeah, pretty crazy. So he'd been running the roads a little bit afterwards, after shooting him. So fast forward even more. So we're to the 11th, and which normally would have been our opening day of gun season, but they pushed our gun season back a week this year. I think it had to do with Veterans Day or one of those holidays that fell around there. And I was hunting a whole different property. Had my my good buddy Adam Bonowitz, who's actually my neighbor and a big part of Blue River Bowhunting. He took a good buck on the 4th and took me to his property that he had and was filming me on the 10th. And we had a very, very good encounter with the buck. Just couldn't get him within shooting distance. We were in a little bit of a thicker bedding area and couldn't really get a shot. So the next day, he took me back that evening on the 11th, and that deer did the exact same thing he had done the night before, and I shot him at 23 yards. It was incredible. I mean, we had that deer on camera all summer long in velvet. We knew it was somebody. If we got an opportunity, we were definitely going to shoot him. I mean, he's like a mainframe 8 on one side, and then one side is just it's a wild concoction. He's probably got 5 to 6 points on his brow tines. Just a kind of a wild, gnarly, non-typical mature buck here in Indiana.
Yeah. I rewatched it. I watched it when we first connected on TikTok, and I rewatched it yesterday. Yeah, great buck. I definitely would have shot him.
I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, and then it looked like on when you recovered it, it looked like a perfect shot. I know. Yeah. I listened to one of your podcasts. I know you're giving yourself a hard time for not getting it on video, which I was talking about self-filming. I'm assuming you're self-taught because I know I am. If you just want to kind of talk about your road to self-filming, because I got all my team members self-film for the most part. If anybody's filming them, it's usually me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's, and I think a whole bunch of new, and I think that self act can do that. So if you want to talk about maybe your self filming experience and maybe any tips you got for anybody else listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when we first started doing this, we basically did things in teams, two guys, and we tried to get the best we could on all footage, because when it comes to self-filming, it's so hard to manage both things, which you get used to it after doing it for so long. That's probably my number one tip would be don't give up on it and just keep doing it until you get comfortable enough to it feels like second nature. But we started with two-man teams, basically, and we had several nice bucks taken on camera as team members. And this year it was kind of like, all right, boys, it's every man for themselves. Let's get it. Let's get as much content as we possibly can with these cameras separated. And, seeing that video that you watched, I did everything perfect. I could have got that shot on camera had I had my other camera arm with me, which was the crazy thing because I saddle hunted. That was the first time I sat in a lock-on all year was when I shot that deer, which is crazy. I mean, just the odds of that happening is pretty wild.
Yep.
But the filming aspect. I don't know if you listened to a couple of my shows or not, but you get that diploma from YouTube University because you learn everything. I didn't know anything. I mean, I'm not. Tech-wise, I'm not stupid when it comes to that stuff. I know a lot of tech stuff. You have to do a podcast and that sort of thing. But cameras and fluid heads and remotes and external mics and GoPros and everything. I mean, you can really, really, really get deep into the filming aspect, and it's just one of those things. You got to start small. Work your way into the things you like. Change as you go. If you don't like something, change it. I mean, it's a whole nother universe, really. People that watch YouTube videos, it's like, man, that's really cool. I think I'd like to do that, and then they start to really dig into it, and they're like, maybe I just want to sit in the stand and hunt.
Yep. And I'm assuming, do you do all the editing for Blue River?
Yes, I do. I do all the editing. I pretty much do everything. I'm kind of like the captain of everything. I mean, technically, I started it. But everybody that we're doing it with, that's on our team, I mean, they're all supportive. They give me as much as they can content wise. Basically, just hand over SD cards and say, I like what you do anyways. Just go ahead and put it together for me, sort of situation.
Yep. So we're the same situation here with Thin Blue Line Outdoors. So I know that's a whole nother thing. So you got just a video segment, and then all of a sudden people just give you some SD cards. Here you go. That's a whole nother process that we could do a podcast probably by itself on that. You use Premiere, or what do you use to edit?
Actually, I use several different things. So what I put everything together on is actually my laptop. But my wife had an Apple or Mac or whatever you call it desktop that she had from her college days, and I literally will put the SD cards into that and almost put the entire thing together on iMovie or whatever it is on that the way I like it, and then I go in. And I've used Premiere and a few other different things, but there's actually one that's kind of like probably nobody really even heard of. It's called Animatica. It's on the Microsoft store, right? My computer's a PC, and when I first started going through there, it was like I don't want to say like $80 or $90 or something like that, and I had no experience whatsoever, and I just got so used to using that program. That's what I like to actually finish the videos with. And you're talking, like a 8 to 10, 15-minute video will take me upwards of 6 to 7 hours to put together because I'm so enamored with the details of everything as far as adjusting, the picture and some sounds and that sort of situation.
Yep. No, I get that 100%. Yeah, people don't realize just for like a 10-minute video how many hours you have into it, and especially when you're first starting out and you don't know anything. I remember it would take me it would take me a week sometimes when I didn't know anything at first.
Yeah,
So
you know,
obviously
you may put 6 or 7 hours into a video, and then once you're done with it, depending on how long it is, it may take forever for it to render, which drives me absolutely bonkers, man.
yeah,
And I wish I could
yeah.
go back to a few years ago when I first started editing, and say I would just tell myself slow down. I was so rush to I want to put this out. I want to put it out right now. I would just not worry about the details, and I would throw it all together. Like I went in 2020. I went to Buffalo County, Wisconsin, and shot a nice buck up there. And I came home and just put like almost everything I had right on. I mean, I chopped down a few bits of it, just put it all on there and kind of hit render, and it was like a 25-minute video or something, stuff that people probably didn't even want to see. And I think that's the cool thing about YouTube too. You see in the analytics how long people are watching it. So that's why I tend to knock down our whitetail and turkey videos. Too long of a video and people lose interest.
Yep. Nope. I agree 100% with that. I know we do our weekly vlog series during the deer season, and I try to keep it around 10 minutes. It kind of seems like every now and then we might get a longer one, but it seems like 10 minutes is usually good. But kind of going back, I mean, I guess you guys have a end goal for Blue River, like a mission statement or anything like that, or kind of what you guys want to accomplish with the brand and stuff?
Yeah, it's crazy. I would say it's just like a blue collar thing. I want to be a regular guy. I want you when you watch our videos or listen to our podcast, I want you to think, man, those guys sound cool. I wish I could just go drink a beer with them and talk and bullshit with them. I just want to be a regular guy. I don't want somebody to be like, man, I would love to go on his show, but I'm kind of hesitant to reach out to him or something like that. Like, I don't want to be, and I don't even want, like, I'm not trying to have Michael Waddell on my podcast. I want the regular guy, for the most part, to come on my show and tell me how they do it. Because there's some regular guys out there that nobody's ever heard of that are absolutely killers.
Yep. Nope, I agree. And I'll tell you, I think what I've seen so far, I think you're accomplishing that. I've watched a couple of your hunts. And then I've listened to your last, I think, 3 podcasts. Your last one with, I forget his name, with it'd be the brother-in-law for Habitat.
Oh, yeah. Zach York.
Yeah. Zach. And that's the vibe I got from both of you guys. Just good old guys that I could go drink beer with and go shoot some stuff with. So,
absolutely. I think it's, at one point in time with the hunting industry and the outdoor channel and that pursuit channel and all that stuff, they had this higher than life mentality sort of situation, and then this YouTube stuff blew up. And I think the more relatable you are and transparent you are, I think the more that people are going to enjoy watching your stuff. If you're on there and it looks fake and you sound fake, ain't nobody going to watch that. I had to put that video out of me shooting that 170-inch deer and not killing it. I wanted to, it's just a tough pill to swallow, but I wanted to be transparent and show you how I messed up. So maybe if you were going through that situation or thinking about it, man, I remember he messed it up like this, like, let's not do that. Learn from my mistakes. Yep.
Nope. I get that. Get that 100%. I know you brought up turkey. Turkeys in the podcast a little bit ago. I know you guys travel, so you guys got a pretty hectic turkey season ahead of you.
Absolutely. I got it's starting, I believe, the weekend of the 12th of April, and I probably won't be done until the end of May. I'm starting in Tennessee, going from Tennessee to West Virginia, back home to Indiana, and then I end it all in May in Michigan, which has been turning out to be one of my favorite hunts throughout the year period.
Yep.
I link up with some mid-state outdoors guys from the middle of Michigan there, and man, it's such a fun hunt. We team up with them, and then have some other guys come into camp, and we all kind of collab together. Some guys that have shows on Carbon TV and stuff like that, and it's been an absolute blast to go up there. We killed 8 birds in 22 hours last year. I mean, it was just like I don't even know how it all came together that way, but it did. And
Can't beat that.
you can't beat that. So I think this year we're going to switch it up a little bit. You know, we did the run and gun thing last year, and everybody killed birds so quickly. So this year I think we're going to like divide in teams. Like you have a partner from an opposite brand, and it's you and your partner versus the other teams, and it all has to do with videoing. You're going to get special points for shooting it with a bow, or or doubling up or something like that. And we're just making it fun. I mean, competitive within our own group. Most people would probably think we're absolutely crazy, but we want to make it harder on ourselves and make it fun at the same time.
That sounds fun. I think you guys will have a blast doing that, which I think I heard you say maybe in the podcast with Zach. Did I hear you say you like turkey hunting more than deer?
No, I didn't say that. I mean, I'm an absolutely turkey fanatic. I mean, I'm borderline obsessed with it when spring hits. But, it'd be so hard, man. If somebody put a gun to my head and said you could only deer hunt and turkey hunt, I wouldn't know what to choose, because whitetails are just like the biggest thing in my life besides my family. Recreational wise or hobby wise. It doesn't get much bigger than whitetails around here. I mean, I think and talk. I mean, I talk about it once a week for an hour, just like you do. It's a lifestyle for sure. I mean, even in the dead of summer, I'm trail cameras, and then talking with Zach the other day, got some sparks and light bulbs going off with a team member of ours. We have a property. It's like 123 acres, if I'm not mistaken, and there's like a 6-acre part of it that used to be an old cattle pasture, and they just let it grow up, and they don't do anything with it. There's a creek running through it. It's literally surrounded by ag, and we're going to go in there here coming up. We're hinge cutting. We're going to till some stuff up and plant some clover to start off. That's just kind of what we think for now. So you're going to have a 6-acre clover plot surrounded in ag, which will be mostly beans coming this year, which I've always had tremendous luck early October when hunting standing beans. But I think it's going to be crazy. I'm going to try to document all that stuff. Luckily enough, Ryan, which me and Ryan are technically the co-founders of Blue River Bowhunting. We started it when it was just me and him. His in-laws own this place, so and they don't do anything with that particular area. So I think we're kind of going to get the family treatment, kind of do whatever we want. This place holds monster bucks all summer long, but when September hits, these dudes disappear, and I can't for the life of me figure out why. They have water, they have ag, they have cover. I don't understand why they leave, but they do.
Well, maybe you start doing that habitat work and stuff. Get a couple to stay. I know we do some clover plots here on my farm. So I live on I own 60 acres, and then my dad owns the 100 acres to the north of me. So we got 160 here. So we work. We got clover plots easy, easy to maintain. Definitely the easiest food plot, and the deer love it. So, I think you're gonna have luck there.
I hope so, man. It kind of gets me excited because I've never. Most of the places I hunt, it's just permission to go in there. So it's not like I can go in with the tractor and make plots or mow strips or anything like that. I go with the flow, and the property that I shot that 170 on, it's kind of been my honey hole for. I've been hunting that place like 20 years now, and as crazy as that is to say, I think I have it. I wouldn't say figured out. You never figure it out, but I think I have my thumb on it more now than I ever have. And I think you probably heard me talk to Zach about me journaling my hunts.
Yes, I did.
And me going back and looking at time frames. and patterns of what some of these bucks did were very, very similar. I mean, I don't know exactly how to explain that, but, you know, 2 or 3 different bucks in the last 10 years, or I'll say 5 years because I've been journaling since 19. They all basically do the same thing in the same time frame.
Yeah.
Which is
How
crazy,
that 170?
Really.
Yeah, to go back to that 170, how old do you think he was? If you had to guess.
I'm gonna go around 6 years old. I say that because I had a couple pictures of him in 2020, I believe, 2019 or 2020, and he was around the 155, 160 there. He looked older then, actually, than he does now. I know it's the same buck. He's got the same characteristics. Both of his brow tines are split. That's how I know. I don't know if that's a characteristic that they continue to do, but both bucks had both their brow tines were split, and they had kind of the same core area. So I mean, even in 2020 when I had pictures of him, he literally looked like a horse with a set of antlers. I mean, just an absolute bruiser of a body for a Midwest buck.
Yeah,
which I'm sure you're used to in Illinois.
yeah. I did laugh when listening to you guys' podcast, and you guys are saying Indiana's kind of coming on people's radar, which I've actually been thinking that for the last couple of years. You know, just seeing stuff on Instagram and stuff. Like, I remember not hearing a lot about Indiana, really, about deer hunting until like the last few years, and then you know, you just see more and more and more. Which, though, I don't know, to me it makes sense. You guys are still kind of Midwest area. You know, you're still gonna have those bigger body deer. It doesn't surprise me that you guys are killing some slammers here lately.
Yeah. Plus, you had several different bucks taken that popped up on the national radar. You had the Dustin Huff buck. I don't even remember what year that is now that he killed that. It seems like forever ago. But, you know, it's the second biggest typical ever killed in North America. I mean, an absolute stud. And that's only like 45 minutes south of where I live, where that was killed. And then we had one killed this year, actually only about 10 minutes from where I live. 236-inch non-typical. I mean, just an absolute freak nasty of a buck. I actually know the guy that killed it. I've been turkey hunting with him several times. He's a very good dude, Robbie Rowland. I mean, just several big deer. Actually, one of the guys, I wouldn't technically call him a part of Blue River Bowhunting because he doesn't really like that kind of aspect. He doesn't want to be filmed. He just kind of does his own thing. But the county I live in, Henry County, he's got the third biggest deer ever killed in Henry County. I believe it's the third biggest deer on the record book. But you can go back and look. I had him live in studio podcast with the buck on the wall behind me. Randy Kincaid, an absolute freak nasty. I think it scored like 187 or something, some change. I mean, just the genetics around this area that I live in. I don't know how, you know, like a Whitetail Properties or something like that, or something of a bigger brand like that has really noticed it and tried to pick up some of these farms. Not that they'd be able to try to get it anyway, because most of them are old farmers that don't want to let you hunt anyways.
Yeah, and I'm in Fulton County, Illinois, and we got Whitetail Properties all around us. We got some I can't think of the guy that's working with the Crush now with Lee and Tiffany. Maybe I forget what his name is, but he's got properties in the area. Whitetail Edge, I know he owns some property around here. So we got some names now coming into Fulton County, which they're killing big deer. So
absolutely.
Yep. So I get that. But no, anyway, one thing to talk to you about, because I actually kind of laughed when I forget it was either one of your hunts I was watching or one of your podcasts. But you brought up saddle hunting. I'm a big saddle hunter. I've been saddle hunting, I think, since 2019. I bought the first tethered saddle. It was at the time it was called the Menace. Or, I'm sorry, it was called the Manus. But now they've changed it, and now it's the Menace, the same kind of platform. So I still got the Manus. Since then, I have the Tether Phantom, and I also have a Cruiser XC. So I love saddle hunting. I've been trying to get more people into it. So listening to you talk about saddle hunting, I like to hear other people's opinions on it. If you just want to tell me what you like, what you don't like, maybe some tips and tricks, and what platform you're running.
Platform, I got the XOP Edge. I have the XOP Edge. My sticks are the XOP X2s, which I highly, highly recommend for sticks. They're only 18 inches, but they come in a 4-pack. And depending on how tall you are, I get about 16 to 17 foot up or so. I'm 6 foot, so and I love it. I mean, and I have a trophy line, whatever it is. I can't even remember what the name. I have like 3 different ones now. I'm actually working with a Gruntworks saddles out of Georgia. He sent me one customized, built-in back band, that whole thing. There's definitely pros and cons to saddle hunting. I literally, like I was saying earlier, I saddle hunted all year. Besides the one day I killed my Indiana buck, I hunted from a saddle all year long. I love it. I really do. There is definitely some disadvantages to it, I think. Like that, if I'd have been in a lock-on that day that I had that 170 behind me, I believe I probably could have got a shot, but directly behind me, the tree that I was in, the cover that was around me was almost impossible for me to get a shot. And filming directly behind me out of a saddle was really tough as well. GoPro helps me a little bit, but not a whole lot. And we do these trips, public land, Kentucky, Ohio, Missouri. We go all over. That's if I was to recommend somebody for a public land setup, I would go for a saddle, lightweight. You're going to be able to get deeper. Tree-wise, you're going to be able to get into more trees than you could a climber. It's a tool 100%. To have. You know, I wouldn't turn anybody down from a climber or a lock-on setup or anything like that, but I think you can definitely be more mobile with the saddle.
Which I know, I'm sure you probably have done this too. I know one thing that's nice with the saddle, if I'm coming to be the cameraman, I know I can, if I'm going to hunt somebody else's property and they already got a ladder stand, I just go up first, set up my saddle,
absolutely.
Boom. Yeah, and it's definitely. As you know, it's safe too. You're always strapped in.
Yeah, I definitely feel 100% safe when I'm in mine. You know, and it's crazy. You see all these different companies. They're coming out with the lighter sticks and the lighter platforms. I believe it was Trophy Line dropped today at the ATA show a stick platform combo that was only like 6.5 pounds. I think altogether, everything. Which it's just getting lighter and lighter and lighter.
I know, there's so many companies making it now, but I think they're all good.
For sure. You know, I've never really ran into too many things that I didn't like as far as that stuff goes. I think some people, when they want to get into it, they may see price tags for certain things, and it may turn them down, and they may go to a cheaper version of those things, and then they figure out why those things are cheaper, you know, and then they try to make, you know, switches beyond that. But something that I'm going to do for 2024, I am going to try to find me a very light lock-on with my sticks and everything for some public land stuff when I go out of state. I just want to try it. You know, I've never really been the traveling lock-on type of guy. I have plenty of lock-ons on my hunting properties, but I want to try the lock-on situation when it comes to public land adventures. Yeah,
I have a couple team members. And they both, some of them operate on the Lone Wolf lock-on, and then the other ones use the Novix. I've helped them both set them up. I like them both. I personally don't have a preference that I've been a part of. I really don't think you can go wrong with either one. And then there's a whole bunch of other companies out there, obviously, that are making some. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Go off of that. So I know. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brett.
I was going to say one of the biggest tips that I would give for somebody that's wanting to get into saddle hunting or give it a try, get you a good backpack that can carry your sticks, that can carry your platform, and it's big enough to put all your goodies inside, camera, you know, Little Debbie's, whatever you're taking with you. Get you a good backpack because you are going to struggle pretty bad if you do not have a good backpack.
Correct. Which what are you running for backpack wise?
I have the trophy line Escapade, I believe is what the name brand. It's like a hard body. I can put my platform on the front. It's got like a clip with like a triangle little pocket, and then my sticks clip onto the side.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Definitely want a good backpack, 100%. Well, to go into a little farther, are you guys thinking far enough ahead for the 2024 deer season? Or what out-of-state trips you're going to do?
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. I know it sounds absolutely absurd to some people, but we plan a lot of our hunts like 6 months or plus in advance. We kind of get it mapped out early. You know, there may be some surprise trips in there, like, hey, we got an open weekend this weekend. Let's go here or go here. But most of our stuff is planned out in advance. For the last 3 seasons, we start in Kentucky, Labor Day weekend for their opener. It's stupid hot out. It's becoming more of a party anymore than hunting, which I enjoy that part of it too. It's Labor Day. After that, literally like 2 weeks after that, we'll be in Missouri for their opener, which Missouri is becoming one of my favorite states to hunt. I don't want like putting out that out there too much because people can find some of these places, but the particular county that I'm hunting has antler restrictions. The public land that I'm hunting, you can't shoot a doe during gun season, and it's huge property, public land, and I don't think a lot of people are getting to the center of it. I've seen up 6 or 7 130s just about every time I've been there. I mean, it's crazy.
Can't beat that. Can't beat that. Yeah.
No,
So I know I've only hunted Missouri once. And I hunted it for turkeys. Did you turkey hunt Missouri? I forget if you said that.
I've turkey hunted Missouri too. I actually missed a bird there like 2021, I think.
Yeah. I went there for the first time last spring, and we have turkeys here in Fulton County. Like a decent population. Well, an issue we had there is almost too many turkeys. I remember we'd be moving in on a tom and we'd bump hens that we had no idea that would be there. I don't know if you had any issues along that. Like, it just seemed like everywhere we went, we were running into turkeys without us even seeing them. It seems like half the time, and they're usually hens. It was just so many hens where we were at.
Wow, that's I mean, and where I'm at here in Indiana, we hardly have any. Like, I'm serious. We have maybe 1 to 2 flocks in my whole county. Very little turkey population, so that's why I travel a lot come turkey season. But I don't know if I've ever ran into that particular problem before. But most of the places that I've been, it's been a pretty healthy turkey population for sure. Which, if you got hens, you would think your population is going to climb a little bit.
There were toms. It was just where we were at is real open country, and so you see a tom a couple 100 yards away. I'm like, okay, we can hug this timber here and get closer, and be a hen there every time, it seemed like.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I'll go back to your deer hunting though. So you hunt in Missouri. Are a lot of these places, are they over the counter, or you actually got to plan ahead and apply for a tag?
All the places that we're hunting are all over the counter. Kentucky is a little expensive. I want to say it's like $375 to non-resident bow there. Missouri's $265, which it is what it is. I'll take $265 all day because it's worth me going over there because I can. So it's in Missouri. They have an early bow and then their gun, and then they have a late bow. Their gun or their bow season isn't in all year round during their, like, when gun season comes in, their bow's closed. So you can actually shoot 2 different bucks in Missouri. You could shoot a buck in the first season, and you can shoot a buck in the second season, which makes that kind of fun. Because we're only allowed 1 buck here in Indiana, which I like it that way. I love the way that we've managed our deer herd when it comes to bucks over the last few, and that may be why we're popping up on people's radars. But but to go back to the hunts for this coming year. After Missouri, the September 15th, then you get October 1st rolls around, which is when Indiana bow season opens up. And for the majority of my October, I'm going to be focusing on whitetails here at home, trying to get it done. I mean, there may be a trip in early October maybe to go back to Missouri, depending on what's going on at home. Most of us have kids and fall sports and that sort of stuff, and school starting back up and all that good stuff. But then we'll go back to Missouri like that weekend of Thanksgiving. Go on Friday, go home Sunday. Right after I would have left right after Thanksgiving dinner had my wife allowed me, but
Yep, I get that.
But honestly, we've kind of fallen in love with the Missouri. I can't even explain it. I mean, like you see on the wall behind me, my Indiana whitetails, but there's just something about that adventure aspect of Missouri, deep hardwoods, a little bit of ag to go with it, but it's just fun chasing them over there, playing the game with them. I have fun.
Yeah, that's one thing we do. I do a lot of traveling for hunting, but I don't do a lot of traveling for whitetails. It's just I don't know. I love chasing whitetails here at home. I absolutely love whitetail hunting, and it's something I want to get into more. But I also like to hunt new things that I don't get to hunt at home. I know we do a lot of in the past. We go to Texas every year, go kill some hogs, and then we've gotten pretty big into bear hunting. It's one thing we've really gotten big into. I killed my biggest bear this last spring. We're going to go back again this spring. But that's one thing. I guess one thing that I've tried to do as my brand, and it sounds like you guys are doing it, kind of the same thing. Like I'm trying to get. I know I've grown up with hunters, and they never want to travel. They never want to go try new places and stuff. They keep saying, "Oh, one day I want to do this. One day I want to do that," but they never do. It seems like very few do. I guess do you have any advice to those guys, like about going out of state to hunt, whatever? Because I know it's like pulling teeth sometimes. We're trying to get people like, "Come on, man, come with me. I'm going anyway. You might as well jump in the truck and go with me." But go ahead.
I never traveled for whitetails until I want to say it was my 2020 trip to Wisconsin. And that's what really opened my eyes. I was so used to hunting deer in Indiana, and that's the only, it was just like tunnel vision. Like, this is how I've been doing it for years. I'm not exploring any other options. I'm hooked on this certain aspect, but it'll open your eyes really quickly to how either you're good at it or you're not good at it. You may be good at it at home, but that ain't nothing compared to doing it someplace else. Like I use the term sharpen your pencil. You really got to sharpen your pencil and do. Before we go to Missouri, I spend hours and hours looking at ridge systems and creek beds on my Onyx. I mean, I'm really doing my homework, and I've learned from Adam how to really find these buck beds, and I think about my thermals quite a bit. Early morning they're rising, afternoon they're dropping. We're playing the wind. If the wind's going this way, I'm going to go down to this bottom, or I'm going to hunt the top of this saddle on this ridge. It's like you really got to hone in on your tools to do so. But for anybody that hadn't really made that jump yet, just do it once. Go one time. Take the leap. Spend a little bit of money, explore, go out and do it, because I guarantee it, after you do that, you are going to be absolutely hooked on the adventure that you just took. I mean,
I agree with you.
I mean, there is the first part of Missouri, the first trip to Missouri, you can camp anywhere, mostly on public land. They have like some camping areas. We tent camp and start fires and roast hot dogs on the fire and stay up and drink beer with one another. And then when it gets cold, we find a place to stay. But that can be fun in itself too. You find an Airbnb that's on the river somewhere with a hot tub overlooking some scenic view. You can find some really cool places. I mean, even if you're worried that your significant other was going to be mad that you were going to go, take them with you. Say, I don't know what there is to do in this area. That's up on you. I'm going to be hunting, but try it. Like coming up in my first trip for turkeys this year in Tennessee, I hear that come out of my wife's mouth quite a bit. Well, you never include us on these trips, which is true. It's a guy thing. I like going with the guys, going hunting. And I included them, her and my son. I said, we're where I'm going to be like an hour from Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg and that sort of thing.
Perfect.
Exactly. And they're into that kind of stuff. They're going to go, check all that stuff out while I'm hopefully laying some longbeards out. But they're going to go do kind of their own thing during the day. And then when I'm done hunting and they're back, we'll go to dinner and we'll spend some time together. And they get to adventure a little bit while I do the same thing.
Yep. No, well said. Well said. I know I got some fellow Leos, fellow law enforcement, and they keep saying, "Oh, we should do this, we should do that." Well, I'm like, "Well, I'm doing it. Are you gonna come with me or not?"
Right.
So I know it's good to get people out and do new things and stuff. Yeah, I guess I don't know, Brett. Is there anything else you kind of want to talk about? I know I heard you say in one of your podcasts you have a trade show coming up in Indiana, right? That you usually help with. If you want to kind of plug that.
Yeah, we have the Indiana Deer and Turkey Expo and waterfowl. They added that term in there 10 years ago or so, but I want to say it's like the weekend of February 23rd through the 25th. I'm going to be working for Exact Archery, which is a broadhead that I shoot and work for. He comes from Nebraska. It's a company out of Nebraska. He comes over and sets a booth up, and there's vendors from Fourth Arrow and Matthews and little small shops that are making turkey calls and duck calls and sort of thing. There's tons of shows and seminars. Actually, Working Class Bow Hunter usually does 4 or 5 different live podcasts throughout the weekend. You can see gun dog seminars and that sort of thing. So, and actually, I don't know if you're familiar with the social media platform Go Wild. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I am on it. I don't post as much as I need to on there.
Right,
same.
I am on it. Yep. Actually got a guy from Illinois that I met on there, met at a Go Wild meetup a couple years ago, and he comes from Illinois and comes over for the Deer and Turkey Expo. It's a very, very large show. It's accompanied by the Indiana Boat Sport and Travel Show. It's like 5 or 6 different buildings. You got RVs and boats and that thing. They have Tackle Town where they're selling rods and reels and sort of thing. And then you get over to the deer, turkey, and waterfowl stuff, and you can literally spend a whole day just going from building to building and checking everything out.
Yep, I know. I got 2 coworkers that have been they've been there the last 2 years, and they've said good things about it. I will be in Texas, hopefully putting some hogs down during that time, or I'd probably or I'd be coming up to see it. I know I've heard good things, but it's just when we go. But yeah, definitely everybody who's listening to this, you guys should definitely check them out. And also, I'm going to put Brett's social media and everything on there. So check them out, guys. I really enjoyed your hunts that I've seen. I
appreciate that.
So, and I know I like to subscribe. I see you're almost to 1,000
yeah,
on YouTube.
almost.
So, yeah, almost, which is a big jump. We hit it last year, and it's a grind. I don't think people realize it's a grind. You wish you put one video and you hit it like that, but it never happens that way.
All right.
Yeah, so everybody who listens to Thin Blue Outdoors, help them out, guys. Again, I really enjoyed this. But we'll go ahead and end this podcast. Brett, if you just want to stick around, I'll end the recording here. But everybody, thanks for watching this, listening to this. Again, thank you, Brett. It was good meeting up with you on TikTok and all that stuff. And yeah, guys, if you hopefully ever had a good deer season. Now that deer season's over pretty much everywhere. And yeah, as Brett said, we're going to be chasing longbeards here soon. So everybody's going to be out chasing some spring thunder. Good luck. Thanks, guys. Bye.